of stuff, particularly fighting, violence, betting. Welcome back to Naughty Boy Fight Picks. This is my UFC Fight Night 140. I know the number for once. 140 Buenos Aires, Argentina, Ponzinibbio versus Magny. Just gonna go through, as per usual, go through the card and my picks. I don't like this card for betting, but I can't resist, so I'm betting anyway, and we'll just see where the cards fall. But before I got into that, I wanted to say that my recap video sucked. I did it, uploaded it, and then realized there was a bunch of shit I didn't talk about. So in future, if I'm going to do a recap, I am going to make notes while I watch the fights, because my brain is a sieve and information just drains through it onto the footpath. Well, I'm not on the footpath when I'm watching fights, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I neglected to mention heaps of things. The controversial stoppage in the Chaz Scally Bobby Moffett fight. I've heard lots of opinions on it, and people are really convincing on either side. But I'm leaning towards, I don't know if people know Zane Simon from Bloody Elbow, but I watch a bit of his stuff, quite enjoy it. I think he said that if your defense for the choke is to look like you're passed out, but you're not, then, you know, and the fight gets called, then, well, tough titties. Which I kind of agree with, man. Like, there's every chance that the ref had let it go and he'd held onto that choke. You know, if he'd let it go too long, then the ref would be under fire for putting the fighter in danger. And there's obviously arguments about blood choke isn't dangerous until you've held it for a minute or whatever it is. But still, you know. So I lean towards the side of, I don't think the ref made a bad call, really. He tested the arm, it looked limp to me, eyes were shut. Like, I don't know if he was out or not, but it looked like it, and the ref stepped in and stopped it, and he saw what he saw. And yeah, if you don't, yeah, it's tough, like, it's difficult, but I think it's better to err on the side of caution, and the ref did. So there you go. What else did I forget to talk about? Mike Trezano, I forgot to say that I hate his fucking hat he wore on The Ultimate Fighter. I hate that his nickname is the Lone Wolf. I tweeted during the event that if you're going to call yourself the Lone Wolf, then I expect you to come to the octagon alone, without a corner. And of course he didn't. I've hated anyone like on the internet like calling themselves Lone Wolf or whatever. It just always pisses me off. It's like, motherfucker, you're not a lone wolf, you're just lonely. You want friends. You're not like this badass fucking loner who chooses to be lonely on purpose. You're just a loser. And then thirdly, about Trezano, I hate that he thinks Born in the USA by Springsteen is a patriotic song, because it's not. So there's rant over. What else did I forget to talk about? Cerrone getting those records. Forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention heaps of big shit. So in future, I'll try it this week. Hopefully. Yeah, should work. I'll try it this week for Argentina, the most exciting card of the year, obviously. And make notes and then do a recap. And the recap should be heaps better. Also, I mentioned a few episodes back that I'm working on doing some podcasts with a couple of other people. One with my brother, who you might have seen before on one episode. I really want to do Adelaide with him, because he's going to be there live. I was supposed to be there. And I get 4 weeks holiday from work, so I'm going to try and sort those things out over that break. And yeah, one with my friend Dominic, who's a author and among other things, looks like a homeless guy. So yeah, those are in the works. Hopefully I can get them sussed over the Christmas break. For people that like my music or my former career as a musician, yeah, I'm going to try and make a record over the Christmas break as well. For anyone that cares. You probably don't. You're probably watching for betting tips and thinking, hurry up, get the fuck into it. So I will. Just as I open this, I noticed that the opening bout has changed. It was what's his name? Nad Narimani versus Giglio. I can't even say that. I had Narimani by sub in that pick. I haven't even looked at Narimani versus Enrique Barzola. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with Narimani, just without any conviction whatsoever, just to save me taping that, because I'm gonna get into taping the next event. Next fight up of the night, we have Devin Powell, that's a guy that ripped his testicle open, right? Versus Jesus Pinedo, or is it Jesus? And he's Peruvian, so I'm pretty sure they say Jesus, right? Pinedo on debut, Devin Powell kind of sucks. But Pinedo's on debut and he's from Peru, so I looked at this a bit. Pinedo's 15-4. He fights long. He's a striker. Got nice head kicks. He's really aggressive. Can be a bit reckless. He's a young guy. Where's his age? Oh, they don't have it on the UFC page, do they? But he's young, and he's got a nice collection of KOs and subs. Devin Powell ripped his nutsack open. 9-3. He's 1-2 in the UFC. Quite an awkward looking striker. Looks really uncomfortable when he's forced to move backwards, and has quite poor striking defense. Not sure from what I watched if Pinedo is this level, but if he is, he should win this one on the feet, hurting Powell. So I'm picking Pinedo by KO, but I ain't putting in any money anywhere near that fight. And heaps of the fights on this card are like that, like a lot of South American guys that aren't really proven yet, the favorites against guys that you've kind of seen that kind of suck. So there you go. Next fight up, Staropoli versus Hector Aldana. Another one, I was just like, I'm staying the fuck away from this fight, because Staropoli's an Argentinian on debut, and just like the last one, he's against Aldana, who we've seen, but is 4-1, and he hasn't looked really impressive. So not much analysis on this, I'm afraid, but I'm just going to go Staropoli because he has a better looking record and a bit more experience. So I'm gonna, when I say a bit more, it's like 3 professional fights, so it's not heaps, but we'll see what happens. Man, this could be a long watch, this card. Next fight up, some great names on it though. What it lacks in name recognition, it makes up for in having interesting names. Humberto Bandenet fighting Austin Arnett. What we got here? Arnett is 15-5. He lost on the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, and then somehow got a UFC fight. Must have been a late call up or something. He's lost 3 fights in a row now, including that Contender Series fight. He's been outstruck by huge margins in his first 2 UFC fights. His takedown defense looks pretty suspect, and he keeps his head on the line and is really hittable. Bandenet, he is 14-5, 1-1 in the UFC. He looks pretty big for a 45er. He got blasted by Benitez in his last fight, and he's got heavy kicks from southpaw stance. I think Bandenet's going to land that head kick on Arnett, because Arnett just looks right for the hitting. So I got Bandenet by KO there, but not super confident once again. Next fight of the night, we have Alejandro Pantoja versus Uka Sasaki. This fight could be fun. It's kind of one of the more exciting matchups on the prelims, I think. Where are we? Pantoja's never been finished. Sasaki hasn't won a decision in over 13 fights, and I don't think he can finish Pantoja either. So, yeah, Pantoja looks better in all areas, so I think Pantoja will get a finish here, either by sub or knockout. But I think it'll be fun while it lasts. But yeah, I'm picking Pantoja there. And whilst he is not a real, well, I guess he's a pretty proven commodity at this point. Yeah, so I haven't yet, but I might parlay Pantoja over with the next event when we get some odds on that one. Yeah. Next fight up. Michel Prazeres, the Tractor, versus Bartosz Fabinski, the Butcher. Won money on Fabinski in his last out. I think that was the Emil Meek fight. It was, wasn't it? And he was paying dog money there. I think whoever dictates the pace in this fight should win. Prazeres is really low output, and Fabinski's quite the opposite. Massive height difference here. So what do we got? Prazeres is he 5'6", I think? So 66 inches. Fabinski's 72 inches. And then Fabinski has 8 inches in reach. And yeah, Prazeres obviously built like a fucking cannonball, a large cannonball, forced to go up to 170 because he keeps missing weight by large margins at 55. So yeah, 5'6" is fucking short for this division. And I think what was his welterweight debut was against Cummings, and yeah, he had trouble with that height discrepancy against a guy in Cummings who isn't amazing. Fabinski has 22 takedowns in his first three UFC fights. Yeah, like I said, he got that win over Meek in his last fight. I cashed on him there. Prazeres has fast hands, but he throws pretty wild and misses a lot. He's never been finished. Prazeres forced up to 170. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, he won that lackluster split decision over Zach Cummings. Prazeres is kind of like Yoel, the way he preserves energy, because he's got decent wrestling, but he prefers not to use it. Prefers not to use his wrestling and his strength, which he's a strong guy, obviously, but he uses it sparsely to conserve energy. Yeah, Cummings, in that Cummings fight, Cummings didn't really force a pace on him, but he looked decidedly tired after getting a takedown and stood back up in the first round. He got stood back up for no activity. And then when he got up, he looked way slower. So it took one kind of grappling exchange for him to look gassed, and he was shaking his arms out, doing all that shit straight away. So Prazeres doesn't have great takedown defense. You'd think he would, because he just looks like a brick on the ground. Yeah, I think even if Fabinski can't get the takedown, making Prazeres defend the takedown will work in his favor. Fabinski, like, because he pushes such a relentless pace with the grappling, he yeah, I think he got pretty tired at the end in the third round of that fight with Cummings. But I think, sorry, not Cummings, with Emil Meek. But I think Meek's got a way better tank than Prazeres. I think Prazeres will fade first in this fight if Fabinski can force a lot of grappling exchanges and kind of run away with it. Yeah, if you think of, you know, like, obviously way different fighters and fights, but the way McGregor is about 50% less dangerous in the second round, and then by the third he's like 80% less dangerous. It's kind of how I feel about Prazeres. Prazeres' record looks real fucking good, but I just think 170 is going to be a hard slog for him. With him being 5'6", it's just going to be real fucking difficult. So I got Fabinski by decision there, and I got a little play on him as well, which we'll see. Not super confident, but it was worth a poke at big dog odds. Next fight up, one I'm also quite looking forward to. Excuse me, Cynthia Calvillo versus Poliana Bocello. Both kind of, well, Calvillo is actually older than you think he is. She is, because she's so inexperienced. But yeah, young, kind of inexperienced fighters who look real promising. the pair of them. Calvillo is 6-1. She's been up for a year. I think that was a weed suspension, right? She's got a nice back take and rear naked choke. Real busy fighter. Her striking has looked undeveloped, and she doesn't have big power, but she has, I think, between her, what was it, her second to last fight and then her last fight, you saw some progression in that area, so her striking definitely was improving, and she's had this year off, so I think we'll see improvements again, I imagine. But then again, she's up against like someone who looks like quite a good or well-schooled striker. Bocello, she's super aggressive. Both of these women real confident. They both kind of exude confidence, and I wonder if you see young fighters and they are super confident, and then it's kind of the making or breaking of them when they start losing a fight. It's like, does that kind of shatter their perception of themselves and their abilities, the moment things go wrong. But yeah, so we shall see. It could be a battle of that here, but I do think Bocello can keep it standing, show real good takedown defense against Pearl Gonzalez. So Gonzalez had her up against the cage a lot in that fight. Oh fuck, I went past my notes, sorry. So Bocello, 7-1. She blasted the undefeated Kondo in her last fight with that body kick. Real nasty. 6 of her wins come by KO. She's quite a loose, natural looking striker. She's got big power. Had that weird fight with Pearl Gonzalez in her debut, but did real well. Like, despite being held up against the cage for a large portion of the fight, she was still real aggressive there, and won the fight due to being the more active fighter in those positions and landing the better shots. Showed good takedown defense there. She's got a real wide stance, so someone's going to come along and kick the shit out of her leg, but I don't know if Calvillo is the fighter to do that. She's got a real nice long jab and a nice long front kick, real reminiscent of kind of like the foundation of Joanna's game, using a jab and a front kick to maintain the fight at a distance that she wishes it to be at. So I think Bocello can keep it standing here, win the striking. I think she might be the better conditioned and more athletic fighter. Big height and reach advantage here. Calvillo's scrappy, but she's been tagged up by people who don't strike as well, like Esparza. So I'm going to go Bocello by decision, but I would not be surprised if she scores another KO here, but we shall see. Also got to play on Bocello there. I missed her at dog money. She's the favourite now, which kind of bums me out, but still paying decent money. Next up, we have Guido Canetti versus Marlon Chito Vera. Lots of people betting Canetti at big dog money because he got that sub in that last South American card and got that huge upset. But man, this dude's like 38. So yeah, Vera's 11-5, never been finished, 6 submission wins. Canetti's 3 losses are all by submission. Canetti's 38 and less experienced. Vera's young. He's been in the UFC for quite a long time now. So yeah, and he just looks better everywhere than Canetti. I think, I hate to say someone got lucky, but that was just kind of like a weird happenstance. No, even that's quite insulting. But he got that win in that fight. But yeah, there's no way I would bank on that happening again. So I think, yeah, looking at their records and how they get things done, I think Vera's gonna tap him out. So Vera by sub. Might look at that prop when it comes out, but it's probably not paying fuck all. So next fight up, Cesar Ferreira versus Heinisch, which was supposed to be fucking Tom Breeze, and Ferreira was paying pretty good underdog money, and I was very interested, but it has since changed. Breeze is out, Now we have Fajeda versus Heinisch. Fajeda's got a great ground game, great submission game. He scores takedowns in every single fight. He's also dangerous on the feet. Heinisch 11-1. He's got a loss to Marcus Perez in LFA last year. That's a guy who has losses to Andrew Sanchez and inexperienced Eric Anders. Heinisch looks pretty clunky on the feet. This could be a competitive fight, but I think it's a bit of a tall order for a new guy coming in against Cesar Fajeda. So I got Fajeda by submission here. And I still don't have odds on that fight. I think they have come out on other betting sites, but I ain't got them on mine. So that's one I'll be looking at parlaying perhaps, because I think Fajeda's going to be a reasonably heavy favourite. Where are we now? Khalil Roundtree versus Johnny Walker. So good. I hope this motherfucker's named after the alcohol, because that's sick. The area I grew up in was quite an impoverished area, and there's many children named after alcohol brands. You name it, there's a kid there named it. If you walk into a bottle store and just point at something, I'll know a kid that's named after that liquor or beer or whatever. What do we got here? So Roundtree's 8-2. He's coming off that KO of Gokhan Saki. Roundtree's really fast, powerful, but he does tire significantly and gets far less dangerous once he's tired. Like, he starts off like his hand speed looks amazing, and then in the second round his hand speed looks like what's his name, fucking Jean Volonté or someone. Yeah, I'm not sure Walker has the experience here to execute, but so this guy is tall as fuck. He's like 6'5" or something, maybe even taller. So he's 77 inches tall. I wish they had it in feet and inches. I could work that out using a bit of math. I can't be bothered. Yeah, 6'5". So yeah, Walker, big height and reach advantage. From what I watched of him, yeah, I would like to see him. I think if he uses his range and can make Roundtree, because he's alright in the clinch too, using that height, you know. That height is useful, or can be useful in the clinch if you know how to use it. I'd like to see him use his range, and then if they get in close, to clinch up and throw them knees and stuff. If he like can land some knees in the clinch to Roundtree's body, he could really make him wear, and then pick him apart from round 2 and 3. Yeah, I'm going the big dog here, Walker, to get a decision. And so an interesting stat I looked at here was Roundtree in his last 7 fights, if the fight's gone past the first round, he's lost the fight. So, I mean, I hope Walker's team has seen that and is looking at that and is like, man, you're long as fuck. Just keep him at bay for a round, make him work a bit, like move around, and then start to go after him from round 2 and 3. I think it's a real smart game plan, but we'll see if he does that and he has the experience to execute. He did, he got a win over, what is it, Henrique da Silva, whatever he is, former UFC fighter in Contender Series. So he showed he can win against UFC level guys. Yeah, just I think early on Roundtree's power and speed could be concerning. But if he can survive a round, I think it's his fight to win or lose. Next fight of the night, we have Ricardo Lamas versus Darren Elkins. This could be fun as fuck. Lamas ranked 12 and Elkins 13. Lamas 18-7. He's like fought everyone in this division. He's got some pretty notable scalps on his record. Well-rounded guy, good stand-up, good wrestling. And he's coming off 2 losses for the first time in his career. lost a split decision to Musa Bektik in his last fight, which, you know, it's what happens when you're fighting at the highest level. Elkins is 24-6. He was on that huge winning streak before just getting blown out by Volkanovski in his last fight. He's also fought Bektik in what was a crazy fight, pretty famous one now, where he was just getting the shit beat out of him for a few rounds, all bloodied up, and then scored that crazy KO in the third. Yeah, I think this fight's a lot closer than the odds would suggest at this stage. They got Lamas as a pretty heavy favourite. I would expect Lamas to go for takedowns here. I think he'll be the guy that wants to wrestle. Elkins has been shown to be that you can get him stuck on his back and control him there for long periods of time. But yeah, both these guys will go hard for 3 rounds if it goes that long. But yeah, just give Lamas a slight edge everywhere. Expecting a bit of a war here, but Lamas by decision. Which brings us to the main event of the evening. Neil Magny versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. And just to reflect the rankings and how ridiculous they are, Magny is ranked number 8 at welterweight and Ponzinibbio at number 10. I guess Ponzinibbio has been out for just over a year, so, but you know, Magny is coming off a win over fucking, was it Craig White? Yeah, and Ponzinibbio's on a crazy streak. Anyhow, Ponzinibbio's 27-3. Fuck, that's a good record, man. 6-fight win streak. He's 8-1 in his last 9 fights. He's a smart fighter, makes adjustments during the fight, and will fight according to who his opponent is. Oftentimes, I noticed. Got a really nice fast jab, really nice leg kicks, which I think are going to come in handy here. Great hand speed. He's only been taken down twice in his last 5 fights, so I think there was a bit of a weakness there. He lost that fight to Ryan LaFleur back in the day, where LaFleur just scored a lot of takedowns and did fuck all. And it seems like he's shored up that part of his game and has got a lot better in that area, because I think that is Magny's path to victory here, is to get Pons to the ground and grapple him, but I don't think he'll have much success there. Ponzinibbio comes out pretty slow usually and just kind of feels things out for a while. Yeah, it just seems to be until he spots something and then he kind of gets in there, and so he'll skip around the outside at the beginning of a fight, but yeah, he's a problem once he starts advancing. Magny, 21-6. He's got a quick return to action after starching Craig White in that fight. I forget who was that fight supposed to be against Ponzinibbio, and Craig White stepped in. I can't remember. Magny has ridiculous reach. What is it? It's like 80 inches. Yeah, 80 inches versus Ponzinibbio 73. So that's massive. But he's not amazing at using it. Ponzinibbio might not be the kicker Lorenz Larkin is, but if you watch that fight, man, real early on, Larkin lands a leg kick on Magny, just one, and from that moment the fight, like Magny lost the fight, and then he gets it goes on a while longer, but yeah, he gets the piss beat out of him, man. And it made me just go off track a bit, made me watch that, and I was like, fuck, when Larkin looked good, man, he looked so fucking good. It's a shame that guy's career panned out the way it did, but never mind, back to this fight. I think the game plan for Ponzinibbio is going to be pretty straightforward here. Hit that lead leg a lot and then follow with the punches. He's the more powerful, faster striker, and I think he's going to KO Magny here. Maybe in the second round. Yeah, I'm going to say a second round KO, but yeah, Ponzinibbio by knockout there. And that's the card. Obviously, I'll get into my bets here. I don't know about this event, man. Don't follow my picks. But I've got unit and a half on Johnny Walker at $3.27. got 3 units on Pollyanna Bocello at $1.74, and I got 2 units on Bartosz Fabinski at $3.27 again. And I don't know, man. And I got some parlays, so I got Ponzinibbio parlayed with Gedalia and Blades, some upcoming fights. Then I got Ponzinibbio and Blades parlayed again, and I got Ponzinibbio and Marlon Vera parlayed for this event. I might look at some other stuff when Cesar Ferreira, when I get some odds for that, but might look at parlaying him with, who was it? Fucking was that Pantoja? Yeah, Pantoja is the one I might parlay with Ferreira. Sure, I had something else to say about that. Perhaps not. Looking at what's coming up, what do we have coming up? Yeah, so the following week is Blades versus Ngannou. Man, if Ngannou just gets wrestle fucked, I don't know where he will go from there. Who else we got? So this is the Beijing card. So we get Song Yadong and Kenon Song. I think I won money on both those guys in their last fight. So yeah, there's some stuff, but man, 3 weeks of fucking, or was it 4 weeks of fight nights? Because after that, the following week we have the Ultimate Fighter finale, Dos Anjos versus Usman, which is a big spot for Usman. I think he wins that fight, obviously. I think it'll look like the Covington fight again, but a big spot for him, like that win could propel him. And then, but shame RDA's that guy now. And then the following week, the Adelaide card, which I'm real excited about. And then after that, fucking Holloway versus Ortega, if they make it past the scales. And then fucking Lee versus Iaquinta. That's sick as well. So lots coming up. We just got to get through this patch of fucking overseas cards and get to the good stuff. But thank you for tuning in. My fucking social media details are in the description. Like and subscribe, all that. I will be coming with the new podcast hopefully over the Christmas period with my other guests and making this shit more interesting. And look for a recap this week where I write some shit down and actually do a good job of it. Well, what we say, mediocre to average job of it. But yeah, thanks heaps for tuning in. I appreciate it. Get at me if you want to talk about some shit. Sure.